friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is the lessons that I've learned in my plant keeping journey so far. Let's get straight into today's video. All right, the first lesson that I would like to share is patience. One thing for patience in the lesson that I've learned is not going from 0 to 300. And I'm sure many of you can relate to that. Buying one plant, two plants, and then next thing you know, you have 300 plants in your house, which I've been there. So just take it easy, babe. Like, just take it easy. You don't have to go full throttle straight away. I really wish I had taken my time and really thought about the plants that I was bringing into my space before I did that. It more became like, they were like collector cards almost. I was just like collecting as many as I could. And that's just not the tea. So yeah, not going from 0 to 300. Next point in patience is plants are living organisms. You know, this is flora. These are the plants that they can grow on their own. So how that relates to patience is plants are going to grow how they want to grow. You know, of course, as us, as plant parents, as their caretakers, is what we really are. You know, we can help supplement their growing, whether that's with grow lights or humidifiers, you know, of course, watering and fertilizing and, you know, supplying that nutrition. But plants are just going to do their thing. They're so much more resilient than I think people make out that they are. So just giving them the time to do their thing and they'll grow. So that is definitely a lesson that I've learned. Okay, this is just personal opinion. I'm talking from personal experience, but I've been there and I'm sure many have been there, is not buying the new on the market plants because they look exciting. And why I say that is because they're not, you know, those new on the market plants aren't going to be super accessible. They're not going to be super affordable. So just give it time, just wait, take it easy, and your time will come. And those plants, you know, that you saw that you really loved in the moment, either A, that won't be the energy you'll have towards that plant in, you know, 6 months or one year time. Or if you still love that plant after that time, you know, more than likely they're going to be a much more affordable and accessible plant more than anything. So just bide your time, just wait, just chill, you know, and you'll get that plant. So be patient. All right, the next lesson that I would like to share with you all is being organized. It's all about the planning, babe. So where are you going to put the plants that you're bringing into your space? It's so important. So being organized, thinking about what you're going to do with them, you know, like where you're going to put them. And then that falls into my next point about organization is lighting. Now, we all know that lighting is probably the most important thing when it comes to houseplants. You know, in my plant room, I've got all these windows here that you can't see, but, you know, I have a lot of natural light. And actually, it's still not even the best lighting because it gets that really harsh afternoon sun. So I have to put like these curtains up to diffuse the light a bit. But, you know, I don't use any grow lights, and I know a lot of people do because they need to supplement their lighting. So be organized. Where are your plants going to go to get the sufficient lighting that they need to grow and, you know, to be their best self? And yeah, just think about where that lighting will be in your home and how that will suit your plants and your space and the look you're going for. Talking about lighting, it's also really important to know the position of the sun in when it comes to how it hits your, your place that you live, your home. So I know it's taken me in the house that I'm living in right now, it's taken me a whole 12-month cycle of all the seasons to see where the sun hits. So, now I know that in this sunroom, spring and summer, that's when that really harsh afternoon sun gets in. But in autumn and winter, it's on the other side of the house. So it's just interesting to note that, so you can kind of, not that you need to like move your plants to like other places of other spaces in the house, to work around that lighting, but it's just good to know. I mean, you can do that, but my fix is I just put up some curtains. But just knowing and noting and being aware of the lighting situation for sure. Okay, my last point when it comes to organization and being organized with your plants is having all the materials ready to go. So specifically, I'm talking about, for me, is moss poles. So, I have a lot of moss poles, and there was a time where, and I'll show a video now, but I really wanted a Monstera Siltepecana El Salvador for the longest time, and I knew I wanted to put it on a pole, and it just happened when I got the plant. I had run out of the wiring that I needed to make a normal size moss pole, and all I had left was to make about half the size one. So it was like a very small, it's a very thin stick one. And I thought, let me just put it on that anyway. And I really regret that, because now the plant has almost outgrown that pole. It's getting very mature. It even has a fenestration. And now I don't know what I'm going to do when it comes to extending that pole. So have the materials ready to go, and that of course can be your substrate, whether you use, like an aeroid mix, soil, cacti mix, leca, whatever it is. Just having that all ready, and the pots, and having all the materials ready is really important to do. All right, my next lesson that I would like to share with you is knowing what you like. Now, of course, this will take time. I don't think you're going to know like, oh my God, my first day of like keeping plants, I know exactly what I want. Maybe you do, and I love that for you. But that wasn't my experience. I started keeping things like ferns and calatheas and ficus, and they were just like not the vibe. And I didn't know how to look after them, and they all just died, like it just gave me like heartbreak. It was a waste of my time. It was a waste of my money. It was just, and that completely falls on me because I just didn't know what I liked. So do your research, but also it's okay to make mistakes. So like if you get plants that you think you like and then you have them and then you realize you don't, like, love that for you too. Like, that's great. That's, if we don't fail, we won't learn. So just, you'll find out what you like. All right, my next lesson that I'd like to share with you is commitment. So me personally, I think looking after my plants is fairly simple. Now, in saying that, I don't use any tech, I don't use any grow lights or any humidifiers or anything like that at all, because for my environment that I keep my plants in, I just don't need to. So my maintenance level or my care level is pretty low. It's pretty simple. All of my plants are on moss poles basically, and so every few days, over, it's summer here in Sydney, so every few days I just tip the bottle up and, they water themselves really. So it's very, and I never water the pots themselves, like the plants themselves in the pots. So that for me, like, I have the time to look after them. It's quite simple for me. But knowing what you can commit to, and knowing what time you have to commit to your plants in whatever capacity that is really important to know before you jump too deep and then you get overwhelmed and you don't have the time, and then you can lose interest because you just can't commit to it. So commitment, and yeah, it's once again, it's okay to make mistakes and learn from them, and just take it easy. All right, and my final lesson that I'd like to share with you all is sharing the love. Now, what I mean by sharing the love is passing on the joy of gardening to other people, whether that's through duplicate plants that you have, probably most likely it will be cuttings that you have and that you can spare and that you can share to loved ones, whether that's friends or family or co-workers or whoever it is. I think that's a really special way of passing on the joy of this hobby, and it's a really nice way to kind of give forward a piece of your collection to somebody else. Now, I really love sharing my plants with other people. I've done it my entire plant keeping journey. So for years I've given people cuttings or extra plants that I have, and I think it's really special. For example, my mum has given me cuttings of her plants, and then I've grown them into plants, and then I've given cuttings of that plant to someone, and knowing that that came from my mum, and then I'm able to pass that on. It's like the gift that keeps on giving, and I just think that's so special. I really encourage everyone to try that or do that more often, because I just think it's a really beautiful way of sharing plants with others. Well, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I really wanted to share, some lessons that I've learned. Please, in the comments, tell me what lessons you've learned. Let's keep learning and growing together and sharing cool stuff. I really appreciate you dropping in and watching today's video. I'll see you next time. Bye.